Welcome back, folks. MACT here, and I'm going to talk about tire pressure gauges. I had a false alert on a TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, and I'm going to show you what I went through to determine that it was not the vehicle fault, but it was the air pressure gauge fault.
Car repair is fun. Welcome back to the MACT video.
The other day when I was going to the garage at the Rock Island Arsenal, I was going and driving there, and on the way my TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, turned on. Said I had low tire pressure. So anyway, I went and took and checked the tires after I got done rotating them, and used my gauge. Yes, this one right here. Look at that thing. Okay, I think I paid 99 cents for it. It was on one of those counter things at an auto parts place or something. Not quite sure, gas station, wherever. I've had this for a little while, and it's not very heavy. It's light. Been using it for a little bit, but anyway, I checked my tires with this. TPMS was still on. Let air out, let air out. Now it's saying I got low tires. Okay, it doesn't tell you which tire, so you know that's one thing I don't like about the Ford tire pressure monitoring system. You don't know which tire it is. Makes it for a difficult experience. You got to check all four tires to figure it out. Now I went and I checked it, and then I went to my gas station, and they have one of those automatic air pumps. I decided, well, I'll try and see what it says. You know, who's going to put a lot of effort into a gas station air pressure pump, right? And anyway, I went to the gas station. I had a readout, and it'd pump it up right to the level that you pushed on the digital readout, and then it'd pump the tire full to the air pressure that you set. So I set it at, I think it was 35 psi. And it said my tire pressure was 26 psi. Now this gauge here told me my tire pressure was 34 psi. So I right away suspected that this tire gauge was probably no good. And I went to a local auto parts store, and I spent about $8 or $10 on this new one. Now, I do have a really good one in my garage, but I like to keep one in the car. Why? Because you never know when you're going to need to check your tire pressure. Those lights come on at places that you're not anywhere near home, so it always pays to have one of these, not to mention a portable pump to carry with you with your car, so that you have a way to actually take and pump up the tire if it gets low or anything like that. But anyway, I went and bought this tire pressure gauge. Now, I'm going to show you what the difference is and why you should always trust but verify any equipment you're using. Okay? You always want to make sure that it's good. So take and get 2 tire gauges if you have a chance, and then verify them. And then, of course, if one's not working, you toss it, okay, and get rid of it. And in this case, that's where this blue one's going, right there in the trash. But I'll show you the difference that it's reading compared to the new one, and then of course I'll air my tires back up to the 34, 35 psi that I usually run them at, and we'll check the door to show what it's supposed to be at, just so you know what you have to have on your Ford Edge as far as air pressure. But this is my experience that I've just recently endured here with this faulty gauge. So we're going to go ahead and, even though it's a mundane thing, hey, tire pressure is important. It saves fuel mileage. If you have proper inflation on your tires, it does allow for your rolling resistance to be less, thus saving fuel. And the other thing is, I always make a joke, and some of you may actually understand this. You know, people come up and say, "Hey, my tires are you know, getting low. It's getting cold out and the tire pressure monitor system is on. And I always make a joke and say, well, that's because you haven't changed it out from the summer air to the winter air. So you need to let all the air out of your tire and then refill it back with the winter air, and then your tire pressure will be all right. And same goes for the summer. Your tires start getting more pressure in them, so you got to let them out. And I always say the exact opposite. Well, that's because you haven't gotten rid of the winter air, and you need to replace it with the summer air. So, but temperature does a lot to air. Air is very, it thins out in heat, and it gets more dense in the cold. So, in other words, it expands and contracts. So as the temperatures change, so do your tires. So you always want to check them when they're cold, not when they're hot. That way you got a starting point. If you check them hot, then they get cold, then of course they will read low. But you always want to stay in that zone for your tire pressure monitoring system. And I believe it'll start kicking on about, I don't know, I think it's 28 PSI or something. You have to look it up in your manual when it does kick on. You'll know it though, because the light will come on in the dash, and you'll know that you got a problem. And then you can either add or remove air accordingly. And that's really what you need to do. Now, in the other aspect, when I bought this car here, they had the green caps on it. Oh my gosh, we got nitrogen in your tires. And I know there's a lot of folks out there that like nitrogen. I know there's a lot of folks out there just like breathing air. Now, just so you all understand, a good 70-some% of our air is nitrogen. Okay, we breathe nitrogen. That going in turn, you're buying like 99% purity, 99.5% purity nitrogen, and they're putting the nitrogen in your tire. Now, what this really does is the air molecules are smaller. Therefore, the air leaks out. Physics, okay? That's what's going to happen. When you put nitrogen, though, in, nitrogen molecules are slightly larger. Therefore, they're less prone to seep out. And also, nitrogen is a little bit more stable at temperature changes. Therefore, you also have less change in pressures from heat and cold, and your tires will stay, of course, inflated and don't go as low or high as they normally would. Now, this means technically that, okay, do I have to check my tires as often? No, you don't. I'll admit, you don't have to check them as often, but you still need to check them. Now, I travel a lot. Okay, I put nitrogen in my tires. I get a leak. Guess what? Where do I find nitrogen? I can find air. Okay, so the pros and cons of that, folks, if you know where you want to, and besides that, the air is free generally. Okay, you might go to a gas station, put a quarter or something in and get air, but nitrogen you have to pay for. Okay, it is a specialty gas. It's a non-flammable gas, and you have to pay for it to air your tires up. And to that expense, if you want to endure that expense and utilize that system, then that's fine. I'm not going to say it's wrong either way. If you feel more confident in your ability to drive your vehicle with nitrogen in your tires is good for you, then go for it. I will, however, say that it's only really important to NASCAR, F1, aviation industry, and NASA. Okay? They use nitrogen like crazy to air everything up because of the temperature fluctuations they have to endure. They want precision, okay? Your everyday automobile, not so sure you need that type of precision, folks. But again, this is my opinion. My experience is I've tried nitrogen. I can live without it. I just do the air thing, and I'm perfectly happy. So, anyway, let's go on and check our tires, because I've rambled on enough about this whole air thing. And let's see what these gauges will tell us and how it affected everything I was doing with this TPMS system. All right, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to check with this known defective one first. and we're going to see what kind of air pressure this tire is showing. And there we go. And as you can see, we do have the gauge telling us exactly what our air is. And this one is saying we have just a little bit over 34, maybe 35 psi. Now we're going to check with the new one I just bought. Now look at this one. It is telling us 30 or so psi. So basically what we're saying is this blue one is off by 5 psi. So you can see where I was having a problem, as this one was saying I had more air and I needed to let it out. And then my TPMS kept telling me, no, you got low tires, you got low tires. And in reality, I don't have enough air in my tires. So I want to make sure that I do the check on that. Now let's go and check one of my other tires just so I can prove I'm not lying about these gauges. Now we're over here on the driver's side rear, and of course we're going to go ahead and check this one out. And I am very certain that this one's probably going to be the same issue. And again, this one is saying 34 psi right there, folks. You can see it. 34 psi. Okay? Now, let's go see what this says. And this one is saying 30 psi. So, again, this blue one is giving me a false high reading, and it's going in the trash. But we're going to go ahead and get the air compressor going, and we're going to blow up our tires. But first, let's check our doors, see what our tire pressure should be. Now, when you go to check your door, you want to go and look for that yellow and white sticker, and then you just go right in here and you look at it, and you can see what you're supposed to have for it, and it says 35 psi for both the front and the rear. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the air compressor, and we're going to charge our tires with air pressure to 35 psi. Now I just got to get here into my garage. My garage is a mess. Holy cow. I'm going to have to carry this thing out of here. Working on the other car. Can't get this one to drive because it is, as they say, got bad brakes. So we had to unload everything out of my work car. But we're getting it all figured out. Turn this thing on. And of course, I have, as you can see, a cobalt. Little cobalt that I use. Served me well over the years. Little 5.5 gallon. It can run my air-powered tools for just a short period of burst, like taking tires off. So it does work for me on that aspect. Just got to unroll everything here. And then, of course, I got to turn it on and fill up the pump because it is empty. As you can see, got the air compressor running. This thing is for light duty use. I've had some pretty good luck with it. It has the ability to turn the air pressure down with this knob, and then of course tank pressure. But I can also have a regulator temperature, so I can regulate what comes out of the hose. Pretty good little air compressor though. Bought it, gosh, 10 years ago I think it was. Had it for a while. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put some air in here. Get it up to 35 psi. See what we're at. We're at 32. And I put a little bit too much in it. And we got to let a little bit more out. And there we go. We are at about our 35, 36 psi. So we'll put our cap back on. Never forget your caps. Keeps all the garbage from getting in there. And a lot of AutoZone stores and other stores also sell these caps in matching colors. It's starting to rain, so we're going to finish this up. Get these tires aired up. But I'm starting to get some rain on me, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing finished up. Get these tires aired up. Get it right up there to 35 psi, just another shot. There we go. That's it, folks. I'm going to do the other side here real quick before it starts raining too much. Get my camera out of the rain. I have to get this camera I have to get the camera and everything out of the rain. It's starting to rain. It's a rainy day. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Remember, you want to sign up and join MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook. Of course, get all the information and everything else from all of our members to help you work on your Ford Edge. By all means, don't forget to go to YT, in other words, YouTube, MACTFORDEDGE channel. And of course, watch this video and subscribe. And with that being said, remember, every day is a great day when both feet hit the floor. And right now, both feet are on the floor, and I'm having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too. Mercy Girl, she's going to take it away from here.
Thank you for watching MacT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.